We're back. My muscle memory is off. I forgot to cut in the second the video started. There's the song, and it's time to update the Zelda tier list because I just spent the past month playing Tears of the Kingdom. We're going to keep this as short and sweet as possible. I made a video on the VOD channel listing off a lot of my complaints and bitching about the game. On an unrelated note, here's some Tears of the Kingdom footage. While we talk about this, right? All right. So, Tears of the Kingdom, pretty fun, pretty epic, pretty cool. Got a lot of problems. The thing we have to update for the tier list, right, is Breath of the Wild will go higher because of how disappointing Tears of the Kingdom is. Tears of the Kingdom, we're gonna mostly focus on the good, but the direction Tears of the Kingdom went has me convinced that Breath of the Wild was a fluke, and now they just have another formula to fall into, and Breath of the Wild is going to be even more special because its sequels won't actually iterate on it very much. So I was wrong. I do have more respect for Breath of the Wild after playing Tears of the Kingdom. And essentially it just boils down to things might not have been perfect in Breath of the Wild, but somehow they're a little worse in Tears of the Kingdom. Because of that, I like Breath of the Wild more. If you care about the tier list, Breath of the Wild is now up there. I now think that only the original Ocarina of Time is kind of dookie. I have not finished these games. And this tier list does not have Tears of the Kingdom, so we're going to use Skyward Sword instead. And I think that Skyward Sword, Tears of the Kingdom, is probably about here. I don't know if I think it's better than Ocarina or not. The question is, do you value like a 10 to 15 hour experience that's very tight, or do you value 100 hours where some of it is some of the worst shit you've ever played in your life, but then the other is like peak, right? Better than Ocarina is. The highs are the best in the series, the lows are very low. I think that's what it entirely comes down to. It's very subjective. Because obviously, right, New Vegas is my favorite game of all time. I still talk with people on the channel about it, right? And that game has some bad shit in it, right? All the characters look like they're out of a toy soldier scene from the 90s. You can hear the same 10 voice actors, you know. The game doesn't run well, it chugs everywhere, the frame rate's awful. The VAT system is horribly buggy. The quests are broken. You can't even get the game to start on some consoles, right? But those highs are like the best highs I've ever experienced in a video game. So the question is if the highs are worth it. The problem is for me for Tears of the Kingdom, and this will probably be the end of the negativity, is the highs just don't need to be there. Like the lows don't need to be there. Because it's working off of the same map of Breath of the Wild. This is something people generally complain about. I'm totally fine with it. I don't care that it reuses the map. New Vegas reuses Gamebryo engine. Majora's Mask reuses Ocarina of Time assets. I don't care if your game reuses assets. That doesn't matter, right? But that makes it harder to excuse the thing being empty, right? So it comes down to the lows are less excusable in Tears of the Kingdom because they also had 6 years to work on it, which is like a very good amount of time in game development. And some of my favorite games ever were made on crunch. So there's really no excuse for why Tears of the Kingdom has the problems it does. Again, I already went over all those. I had my part where I fucking started screaming and yelling about the problems of the game, right? Like fucking Eco Raptor. But what works about it? Wailing on enemies is fucking fine. Weapons breaking is shit. and there's never going to be a situation where I stop hating it in these games, but when you're in the middle of a fight, if the text your thing is about to break doesn't come up, it's good to wail on shit. It's very fun to abuse bullet time. It's a little too strong. A little too strong because I'm like bad at the game and I can coax by entirely on bullet time, but it is fun, you know? I'm not going to say it's not fun. It's incredibly fun. I don't know if I can say vehicles are very fun. They're not for me, but they're definitely for someone. What else is fun? I like the temples. A lot of people don't like the temples. I like the temples. I like the companion idea. I think that they should probably be actual designs instead of weird green silhouettes. But I do like that they follow you. That's very nice, very epic. The interface with the companions is unexcusable, but we're trying to be positive, so we're just not going to really talk about it. They're barely better than the champions were in Breath of the Wild as far as characterization goes, but I do like them, except for Yunobo. I do like their characters a lot. I mean, it's not very complex, but I do like them. I do think that whenever exploration is working together, which it doesn't usually because it just... I'm sorry to bring it up, but most of the world devolves into Korok seed hunting because weapons break, you know? So it's not really much fun to explore. But whenever you are finding something new that is completely fun to explore because it's exciting and interesting on its own merits, not because you get a Korok seed, right? Exploration is goated in this game. When it's good, it is some of the best you will ever experience in any video game ever. Immaculate. It's very rare for it to be like that, and that only lasted the first little bit of the game compared to the overall length of the game, but it is there. So if you don't mind paying $70 for, you know, an experience that's not quite as long as it's advertised, you will get some of the peak that you will ever experience in any game ever. And I think that's why so many people have such a good experience with this game, because they only play it for like the first 30 or 40 hours, and when they get bored, they stop playing. Ooh, it's thundering. What else is good? What else is good? There's more music. Not quite enough for me, but, you know, step in the right direction. Still a regression from where we were, but, you know, at least this time there's more of an argument. Stuff like the Gleeok battle theme is rad. Fusing is really not for me. To me, fusing only exists as sort of a half-baked attempt to justify weapon durability, and it doesn't justify it. But the hidden application of weapon fusing, or fuse, is actually to your shields. Because shields are kind of worthless in this game, you can reach this point where you start stockpiling like gloom weapons on your shields, or rocket shielding with like 10 different shields, or putting like a ruby on a shield so that you're warm at night. Things like that are pretty cool, but fuse as a whole is very lame. And really, when you think that it exists just for weapon durability, it takes a lot of the magic out of it, which it's really hard to ignore. Hyrule Castle, actually all 3 times you go to it, is actually pretty cool. I think that the major story beats are kind of fun, right? They're okay. They're not that bad. I think that like the town defense in Gerudo and You know, town defense in Gerudo is a lot of fun. But I really don't want this to be negative. I played this on the second channel. I did like almost 100%, but I literally I reached my limit and I couldn't do it anymore. That's the kind of game this is, and it's very unfortunate. I went into this game with expectations, but the expectations I had were just to improve on Breath of the Wild, and it didn't really do it that much for what I wanted. Trying to be really nice. What else can we talk about? I think that Starcast and Starview Islands, the zero gravity islands in the Gerudo area, are very fun. I think that I think that the shrines are excellent. A lot of people really dislike the shrines again, and I actually am on the other side. I think that the proving grounds are the combat trials, but done right, because they are consistently fun. And yes, you can overpower them later on when you have like 20 hearts. Actually, when you have like 30 hearts, you get so many hearts. But yeah, you can get the Master Sword at any point in this game again, which is kind of nice. The puzzle shrines can be very easily broken, but at the same time, as opposed to Breath of the Wild, where it was satisfying to break a shrine because you didn't want to do the stupid shit in the shrine, it's more fun in this game because it actually feels like you're coming up with some ingenious solution using this insane system. I think that all of the difficulty of the puzzle shrines dissolves the moment you get used to Ultra Hand, but it's still something. I think that Ascend is kind of fun, but at the same time, it invalidates climbing. That kind of makes me wonder why stamina is still in this game. Because like your paraglider just isn't strong enough to get you places without also using technology. So at that point, it almost makes me wonder: Ascend invalidates climbing, vehicles invalidate the paraglider. Stamina is really only useful for swimming in this game, and like running on land. So, I don't know, a bit weird. I'm trying really hard to think about things that I like about this game, because it really just is that it's very fun to just boot up the game and explore and see some of the differences that are good, and then it just falls back into Breath of the Wild. You're running around looking for Gorak seeds, and once you have your inventory full, you're wondering what's next. And I don't know that there's much there besides that, but trying really, really, really hard to be positive. So wailing on enemies is fun. We already said that. I do think that this is one of the funner versions of Zelda for making Link look very cool. All the different outfits you can get. You can make Link look like cute. You can make Link look like badass. You can dress him up in like the Ocarina of Time or Twilight Princess outfits. Make him look all edgy. You can dress like in Wind Waker and Skyward Sword. It's very cool. All the outfits returned from the first game. Most of them. I think there's a few that are taken out. There's new ones. There's more gimmick type sets. More armor to find everywhere. So it's very cool. Let's see. The voice acting is on the whole better. I don't know that that's a major point, and I don't even care about it, like, for the sake of a tier list, but, it's something to mention. The voice acting is definitely improved. Ganon's in this game. If that matters to you, that Ganon's in this game, like, as a person. So, it's very epic. Caves are in this game, And caves are pretty fun. You fight these new enemies in the caves that hang from the ceilings and act like absolute degenerates. And they use spears to poke at you. And you like always just find a ton of valuable stuff in caves. So I like caves. They get a little repetitive near the end, but like obviously if you just play the game for like the first, I don't know, 30, 40 hours and then get bored and stop, you'll experience all you want out of caves. So it's good, but I don't know that it's the game that I think a lot of people are calling it. It's very excellent at the best of times, right? Like, if this game was the level it is when it's good, it would be like this, right? But it's not like that all the time, unfortunately. I'm going to put it below Ocarina right now, because I'm not sure quite how replayable it's going to be. It's weird, but it actually might be better on replayability, because you might... It is designed in a way to dissuade you from 100%ing it, which means that it actually might be technically a shorter game to replay than most of these other games. Like, when I replayed Majora's Mask, I wanted to play it again so much that I played it 3 times in a row, basically, and got, like, probably overall around 25-30 hours out of it. Whereas if I ever replay Tears of the Kingdom, I'll probably only play like 20 or 25 hours similarly on one playthrough and then just get bored and stop. So it might actually be like technically less stressful to do a replay than like thinking like, oh, I want a 100% Majora like 3 times in a row, you know? And it's definitely a chill game. It's not like the other games where it's like, oh, it's like active and, you know, like Link Between Worlds where you're just constantly like, oh, how do I use my my merging here? And or Majora where you're like, oh, I need to make this time. It's like, nah, you just kind of dick around and like run places, you know? It's a fun game. And if you liked Breath of the Wild, and you like don't need it to be reinvented to love it, play this game. I can't stress it enough. If you like Breath of the Wild and you don't need to see Breath of the Wild changed, play this game. It's for you. But I personally wanted to see Breath of the Wild improved and didn't really get that. I'm not going to try and hold on to it. It's just, it is what it is. It is what it is. But, you know, that doesn't make it the best game in the series. So, yeah. Physics engine is still fun as always. Some of the puzzle solutions are nuts in, like, the best way possible. Some of them are kind of bad, but a lot of them are very good. There's some, like, Hyrule Castle Song of Storm stuff in this game, but that's very rare. Most of it is actually very cool. I think that Zonai devices are actually the best template for how to bring items back in open world Zelda, because they were very paranoid about bringing things like the hookshot in. But if you make it so that traditional Zelda items like Deku Nuts and hookshots work on a resource system like the Zonai devices do, you could actually have it be like, oh, you have a one-time use hookshot, so you can't use it all the time, right? But you can use it to like make certain traversals quicker, maybe. I don't know. This game is teeming with possibilities, and it's hard not to get lost in that, but at the same time, please try to keep in mind that based on the changes they made from Breath of the Wild to this, they don't seem interested in changing very much. So I won't be getting my hopes up for whatever next game comes out. I'll want to, but I think I got burned a little too hard with this one. But yeah. I think that the only games in the Zelda series that don't really hold up too well are like original Ocarina, because it's just completely outclassed by 3D. Other than that, they're all pretty fun, and I think that the Majora's Mask 3D with Leo's restoration patch is peak. It is one of the best experiences I've ever had with a game. Please go try it if you haven't. And Link Between Worlds is still my favorite pure Nintendo Zelda game. So, yeah. Please give this game a shot if you enjoyed Breath of the Wild at all. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to drag on it. I don't want to be negative. Because there are people that have made just bashing videos like I did. But, like, we're talking, they put in the effort to, like, edit the video and, like, make it all presentational. And still just bashed it. And I really don't have it in me to have that much negativity, like, on this channel. Like, it's different when it's just fucking, like, stream uploads, but this is, like, the video I'm taking time to, like, sit here and think about what I'm saying. Like, I really don't just want to bash it. So, yeah, give it a try if you like Breath of the Wild. And if you just hated Breath of the Wild, I can't recommend this game. This is where I would put it for now. I think I do like it more than Link's Awakening, though. Something about Link's Awakening just doesn't jive with me. You know what? Actually, yeah. Something about Link's Awakening doesn't vibe with me, right? But it is a good game, obviously. But yeah. Oh. Ugly. Bad at video games. Cringe take. I'm a nobody. I'm a no-name. I have no subscribers. I do have subscribers. Thank you for subscribing, by the way. I have bad takes. I'm stupid. I smell bad. I'm never made a game. You know? Whatever you need to hear. Alright, bye.